Alright, hello and welcome to a new series. In this series I am going to write popular names and show you how to flourish them, how I would plan them out, and how to balance them as well. So I'm going to start with the most popular name. I did Google these, but it said the most popular baby name for 2024 was Noah, so I'm going to start with that. Those of you who have seen sorry, it's so hot that I'm going to need something to protect the bottom of my paper from the rest of my hand because it's hot. So my hand is sweaty, so it'll mark my paper and it will just make it that little bit more absorbent from the oils from my hand. Okay, so I'm going to start in pencil. I always plan in pencil. The only time where I do not plan in pencil is when I plan in soapstone, purely because I'm on a darker sheet of paper. So I'm using a totally normal HB pencil. I like to plan in pencil. Pencil is a great practice tool because you can get light lines and your darker lines with pressure, much similarly to a pointed pen. A lot of people will prefer mechanical pencils, and that's absolutely fine, but I tend to find that you just need to take a little bit of care because a mechanical pencil lead will, when applied to like a pressure downstroke, it'll be harder to erase because of the sharpness of that lead, so do be careful. Okay, so for the name Noah, I would, in a pointed pen, I would do a backwards universal line of beauty. Because I'm in pencil, don't have to do that. I can do it forwards. It's always easier to go forwards than backwards. The reason that we go backwards in a pointed pen is so that you don't accidentally get a thick downstroke going on here. The difficulty and challenge with an N, I tend to find it one of the hardest letters actually, is that you're going to have to do two of these and they need to be as identical as possible. So, you know, maybe you're one of those people that builds up from, you know, just doing the middle third and then doing your top and bottom. I tend to do one, find one that I'm happy with, and then just try and recreate it. And if I need to move it, then I absolutely can. Okay, I'm trying to make this about 2 O's wide. What I mean by that is if I have the letter O, it's going to be about looking something similar to that, means that I want these two lines of universal beauty to be about 2 of these apart because I've got the middle line to go. So the middle line I can put straight in right here with a little bit of pressure. Okay, I'm going to keep it very, very basic, and I'm going to show you why. It's just to do with how I plan flourishing. Okay, that's actually much wider than that, isn't it? So let me move that over. Maybe I'm just slightly off on my angle. There we go. Okay, hopefully it's in focus. I think it is. There we go. Cooking with gas. So already from the majuscule, it's dictated the width of your O right here. So in the middle third where everything is meant to be parallel, I was going to say symmetrical, that's not right. If everything is parallel, then there should be equal distance or an O's width in between these areas. So for then going on and doing minuscules after this, so the O, A and H of Noah, I would then need to do another O's width right here. I'm not so happy with that. Hold on. I think I got scared of hitting that line. There we go, much better. And my entry stroke is going to be formed from this part of my oval, and it should be parallel to here. I'm then going to obviously have an oval for my O. I'm then going to have an oval for the gap between my letters. So you can sort of see where I'm going with this. I've got another O, which is part of my A. That's about right in terms of width. And then I've got the gap between my letters again. Technical terms, this gap between letters is called a ligature. So a ligature is a generalized term. Ligatures can look wildly different to each other, but their function is to join letters together. That's a bit far away, isn't it? In fact, I think they're both a bit far away. Let me mush them a little bit closer together. Oh, it looks better. Okay, so I've got N space, O space, A space. And then I should have another one for my H, and then a final one for my exit stroke. So I should basically have a load of as identical as possible ovals. The point of this is so that you're planning your entire letter. Okay. So what I will do is I'll do it straight onto here. Will I ink it straight away? No, I'll do it in pencil. So on here, I should have my entry stroke, my oval. That should be parallel to here if possible. Another oval for part of my A. That's going to follow the bottom of this. And then I'm going to do just a straight thing. I'm not going to complete my ascender loop here. That's because I'm planning for flourishing, and it's a flourishable area. So ignore the person outside and the stupid exhaust. There we go. All right, so we can kind of see how things are working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a rubber, and I'm just going to go very, very, very lightly over, and it should get rid of the lighter O's and leave me just with the impressions of the heavier stuff. I can still hear him down the street. There we go. Alrighty. So I've got the name Noah. It looks a bit crazy, but I promise this is how it goes. So from this point, I've got the very basics. This is the legibility of my word. I can change some things, but any changes I am going to lay over a really, really thin piece of layout paper. You can use tracing paper because this is obviously all in pencil. If you do use tracing paper and you ink it, then the ink is going to wrinkle up your tracing paper. So I tend to prefer layout paper. All right, so I can see exactly where this is. Yeah, so I can go straight over this. I don't need to go over the whole thing because I can no. Just so it's easier to see on video. There we go. Alrighty, so there is my name. What I can do then is I can start, because I've got the two layers, I can start adding flourishing elements and balancing my name. So at the moment, it depends how much you really want to do, purely because flourishing can be endless, basically. So for example, if I take this flourishable end right here, it does not have a terminus dot. I can put one if I want one, but if we're flourishing, let's flourish. So I could take that up, and all I'm flirting with here are three basic elements. I can move that up a minute. So my three basic elements are, I've got a vertical oval, I've got a horizontal oval, and I've got basic strokes that I can play with. Okay, so I'm going to go through, let me lay that over again so that I can see where that's going, roughly there. So at the minute I've got a horizontal oval. It's more of a circle, so I might change that slightly, or I might have something that comes in here. So I think, oh heck, for the purpose of this, I will turn it into an oval. There we go. And we can always go back over. Okay. All right. So I could potentially then create another horizontal oval right here. So I've got an oval up into another horizontal oval and into another one. So all three of these are pointing sideways. I can obviously continue this if I want to, but I'm going to leave that there for a hot second, purely because we're very, very heavy on the left now and there's nothing going on the right. So easiest thing that is always the temptation is to extend the ascender. So I could extend this ascender and we could just copy it and flip it. Something like that. So these two ovals are pointing almost directly at each other. It is up to you how you want to do it. I mean, there's a million different combinations, but you can see I'm just playing with horizontal ovals currently. That could be turned into a third one. So exactly the same deal. I'm going to do something with some vertical stuff. So I could continue this as if it was a descender, and I could put something in there. I'm not sure I want something vertical there. I'm in frame, aren't I? Hopefully. I think I would rather have something horizontal because I have nothing that can fill this gap. I could make something else like a separate element, but I think if you've got a name, that's what you should stick to. Separate elements are all well and good, but I think they're something completely different. So let me swing this. All right. So you see I've got another horizontal oval. I'm using a basic stroke here. So it means however high up I go, around this middle line, that's as low as I'm going. Yeah. So it is a basic stroke of construction, but I'm just making it quite large, and I'm trying to keep whatever enclosed spaces here to the same sort of size over here, so it looks a little bit balanced. I can carry on should I want to. Absolutely fine. Kind of like it. I also have a large space right here where I don't think it needs a lot. It might just need something like that. Okay, so obviously this is hugely over flourished, but it is good if you're doing something very, very fanciful. Simpler flourishes tend to look more elegant, especially if you have an envelope or multiple lines of text. But over the top flourishing has its time and place, and I find it quite fun. So if I did this again, and you'll see this is why we trace it through. Just move that. I'm in the middle of doing that. There we go. Alrighty. I mean, this is just in pencil. Once you find one that you are happy with, then you can take your basic one. You can take away your basic one right here, and you can ink that and then follow the lines of your flourishes. I need to stop moving it when I'm laying it over the top. There we go. Okay, so for something different, what I might do is I'm going to start on this side, and I'm going to put in the basic ascender shape, but I'm going to continue it on into a horizontal oval. The horizontal oval, I see this flourish a lot, and I do see it done without information a lot. So I tend to see that this is pointing in whatever direction, that when it loops back on itself, it isn't bisecting the space, so it's not looking as aesthetically pleasing as it can. So make sure, if you are doing this, that your oval is fully pointing left, and that when you're coming back onto yourself, you are bisecting that space. Even if you're continuing, you should be bisecting that space, because that's what makes it look deliberate. Where will we go? Okay, we'll do something vertical over here. Why not? So I'm going to play with a vertical oval. So on a vertical oval, I'm trying to match the distance right here. And I can continue it. I don't know, I could put it into another one. I think I've put that a little far over. Let me walk that back over. That's better. All right, so I walk that over a tiny bit just so I'm defo bisecting this lengthwise. I can continue it. I can do it infinitely if I want, but I wouldn't do more than 2. Even on the fanciest of documents, you rarely see more than 2 concurrent loops of the same variety. Okay, so what I'm then gonna do is I'm gonna extend this up, or more up. I want it to loop right around, but I want it to look deliberate, so it means that I need to look at my negative space. So what that means is I'm going to try and clear this H. Hopefully, am I still in frame? Yes, and yes I am. So I'm going to try and clear almost like a force field around my H ascending loop, where we can put something under there. Where will I go? I don't know. I don't fancy doing that. I might take the H down again. I was thinking about taking the A down, which is possible, but because it's in the middle of a word, it means that you're going to have quite a large berth for it, and I think it runs the risk of looking a bit like a G at this point in the word. So let's have a little look there. Do I want to go there? Ooh, okay. So I think I'm gonna leave that looking like that. So I've got 2 options of Noahs here. I've got massively over flourished, both of them, mind, but you can see there are so many options just playing with basic strokes that I've gone through before. So on a midline, I'm going an equal distance up than I am down. I've got my contained ovals. They can either be vertical ovals or they can be horizontal ovals. And I am just playing with scale, like ratio between the 2. So I can put something like, I don't know, let me do something here that really shows that off in a, no, it's gone up a bit quickly. So I could put that there. So I could put something there like that. So these are both horizontal ovals, but obviously one is much smaller than the other one. Not a problem. I don't necessarily like that for this letter because it's dropping this too low and I've got nothing to balance it over here. But you know, I think it depends on what you're working with. I just wanted to show an example of how to incorporate these 3 basic things, so vertical, horizontal, and your basic strokes, into a flourished name. But we've got 2 options. Okay, please let me know if there are any other names in particular that you want to see, any that are causing you any headaches, any weird ones. I always love finding weird ligatures, so do let me know. Otherwise, have a good day. Bye bye.